Man, I so want to go to Brazil to enjoy those beautiful beaches.
While you're there, I think you can look into the Tic Tac incident which happened there.
What do you mean?
You don't know about that?
Well, let's talk about the Brazil Varginha UFO incident.
Yeah. It wasn't called as Tic Tac at the time, but it's the same UFO. I think people used to call it a cigar shaped UFO. So this happened in 1996. So there was a cigar shaped UFO which kind of crashed. It wasn't just a UFO which got crashed.
Okay, what else?
There were alien bodies along with it.
Okay, go on.
And it didn't stop just there. There was one alien body, a live alien. It went into the city street.
Just after the crash, it got out of the aircraft or craft and then walked into the
It just
city.
wandered. It started wandering. I think it was hurt because of the crash. So it was just like wandering, and there were like three girls which actually witnessed this. I think the kind of testimony the person was giving was something where this alien was crouching towards a wall, something. It was in some kind of a pain. So that's something they could feel by looking at it. And it's crazy, like to imagine someone who has really encountered a non-human being in such a close proximity, and they're still alive to talk about it, right? If you think about it.
Okay, hold on. Let's back up a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
I
too
think
much
we
to
went.
consume.
Yes,
So, there was this cigar shaped aircraft, let's say an unidentified object, obviously. So, there was a cigar shaped object that, first of all, crash landed in Brazil, Virginia area. And then alien beings from the from the craft walked out of it and wandered into the city. And people like you and me saw those alien beings. Is that what you're saying?
yes, exactly.
So why are we still
But
waiting for the government to disclose that UFO and aliens are real? Like, if this incident is real and real people saw alien beings, case closed.
that's what you would think, right?
Go
But
on.
it's not that simple. So, what really happened was after the crash, there was one dead alien body which they did see and recover at the crash site. So, even before any government agency came and retrieved it, there was a civilian which actually went to the location, and he saw this and he was shocked because you don't see such thing day to day. And he also found a material. This was something where when I first was researching about this topic and I was hearing this, I found a connection, similar connection with the Roswell incident, where some of the materials which people handled were a shape material or a memory material, you would call that, where it is quite thin. You crumble it, but it will come back to the original shape it had. So similar material this person found in this crash site too. So probably it's a similar type of craft, maybe, I don't know. Or the shape was different. I think the one in Roswell was a boomerang shape. I think this was a tic tac kind of a shape. So, but still, maybe there is some common thing. That was quite interesting part. But the most crazy part is when this other alien. My assumption is where like this crash happened. Maybe it came with beings inside the craft, and one of them died as soon as the crash happened, and maybe two other survived. One ended up wandering into the city, and yeah, when it started wandering, and people obviously were freaked out, and the way the Brazil government reacted was they kind of enclosed the whole area. They kind of set up barricades and situation where they tried to handle it. In a way, the entire city was filled with military personnel. So yeah, they wanted to kind of capture that being. So yeah, without that, they were not leaving.
Wow, that's unbelievable, to say the least. So what happened to the craft itself? Did the Brazil government or any private party, did they like uh, get hold of the craft?
At that moment, they did take the kind of they cleared any crash which happened. Usually, military organization they have a specialized team for any crash kind of things which can happen. This could be any common civilian aircraft or a military aircraft or anything. So they usually would have a specialized team. So similarly, I assume a Brazil government or military government would have such kind of a capability. And another thing also why a swift action would have been possible because this location was very close to a military facility. So the amount of time between the crash and a report and for the military to arrive wouldn't be such a huge thing because they were just there. And yeah, the crazy part is it doesn't stop there, right? Like it's not just like where like they saw the alien being and okay, yeah, they went and tried to capture it. And there was this young person who kind of I don't know, he felt super patriotic whatever, and he just like went and grabbed that alien by his hand. He just like grabbed it and he,
That's the opposite of what I would do when I see an alien.
the, yeah, it's crazy. So he grabbed the alien directly and they captured it and they took that alien into a hospital because it seemed wounded and they wanted to kind of see what can be done to uh, fix anything which is possible, even though okay it's literally an alien, right? Like we don't know what kind of biological thing it would need, and they took that to the hospital, but while they were taking it, I think it was already dead.
So this was one alien that was wandering the streets.
Yeah.
It was caught, and they decided, whoever was around that area decided to take the alien to a hospital to treat it, but then the alien died at the hospital.
Yeah.
And was there any other surviving aliens, or this was the one that survived?
So there was a surviving alien, is what I believe. It was captured in a different location. This was again also captured by some fighter or someone who managed to capture it, and they had some specialized box and things like where they managed to put that alien into that. So yeah, there was a live being which they had, and two dead biologics is what I would say.
Wow. So what did they do with the surviving alien?
Yeah, the surviving alien. Before we go there, let me say what happened to the human who tried to actually engage with these aliens.
I'm sure he's fine.
No. So he died mysteriously. They didn't even give the body back. So the person had a sister and he had his family. So they didn't even receive the body. So they just like immediately they wanted to bury it. They wanted to make sure okay there is nothing kind of gonna spread or things. They just did release the post-mortem report, I believe, which did have some kind of a foreign contamination or something which is not usual, which is in our ecosystem or things like. Again, that's what the report says.
That's not common to.
Yeah, it's not a common thing. But the other interesting or a unique thing which a lot of people reported during this incident was a strong stench of ammonia, kind of a smell, which was coming from the place. So even when the girls were seeing this alien crouched near the wall, and even inside the hospital, even though the alien was inside the hospital just for a few moments, I think they took some X-ray or something, and the doctor says like he couldn't even see the X-ray, which is quite unusual, and the whole hospital was filled with military personnel, and they just like took the body away. But the hospital had the stench for weeks together. Like even after all this incident happened, they couldn't get that smell out because they had to close the hospital because of that, and they had to do a lot of cleaning and things. So yeah, it was crazy. And eventually, guess who took the bodies and every kind of materials?
You mean after Brazil military did all the
Yeah.
groundwork.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's the US.
Yes. So the weird thing is the operator, the person who manages the airspace for Brazil in that area, when this US aircraft was coming in, they didn't have a clearance to land,
Okay.
and you don't like see such kind of a big huge craft coming into your space and then okay the without any clearance, like without any heads up, that too of a foreign nation. And yeah, he was confused, but then his supervisor or everyone said like you just go and do it. So there is a actual record that this happened where US aircraft came in during exactly at that time. And even though okay there wasn't any particular mission as per US records, but it did happen as per Brazil's record. So US came in, took the all the resource, all the materials, went back. So it was said to be where they flew it back to the Wright-Patterson uh, field in Ohio. I think that's where the Roswell debris also went in. So it's a place where everything goes.
Wow. I wondered why Brazil was obligated to give away such a huge finding just because US asked. Is there any political agenda behind that?
So
What's
one obvious thing is US does have more capability in terms of researching and managing such things.
that makes sense?
So uh, they might be sharing some knowledge. We don't know. Obviously, these are all like complete speculation. What could be the reason? Obviously, yeah, they are allies, right? It's not like we're like US and Brazil are like some arch enemies, right? They do work on things. So obviously, this is something which is like about top secret kind of mission. So yeah, we don't know. Maybe they would have something. Obviously, the facilities and uh, kind of capabilities US would have, Brazil may not have at that time at least. So maybe they would have had a better opportunity to get into it here.
Right. So how big was this craft? How did they even transport this craft from Brazil to US?
Yeah, it wasn't like huge. It's not like anywhere. I think they say it's something to a close of size of a school bus. So it's not huge.
Okay.
But yeah, you know like
Manageable size.
yeah you have like quite a big aircraft which can carry bigger than, because you have like crafts which can carry tanks and other airplanes too. So you have such a capability with US.
And they took away the surviving alien as well?
Yeah, they took everything.
Okay, now I need to ask this. How did this not become the biggest news of the century?
It did happen. We were maybe we were like still kids, or maybe we were still young, I guess, like during that time. But yeah, it was a big news. And yeah, the other way is as usual, right? Like the way the government managed, or the explanation they gave was quite funny if you think. They completely said whatever the military personnel who were there during that time, it was just a regular exercise. It was just part of a regular exercise, which they just wanted to see out of nowhere. They just wanted to put some barricade. They wanted to stop people entering hospital. They wanted to just stop everything, and they just completely ignored the fact that there were so many eyewitnesses and people who actually saw. And they gave a different story for the being which was there, and people who saw that, they said it was some mentally ill person who used to wander in that area, and people mistook that for alien.
Okay.
I don't know, is it insult to the people, or just insult in general for people who might be mentally ill? I think like they assumed we are all mentally ill. Just we will just take such kind of blatant explanation.
Right. Any explanation they throw at you, they expect you to take it with no questions asked.
Yeah.
That's
So the most crazy part is when you look at the press conference which was happening, and then this military personnel who was supposed to give this explanation. After he gave all this and people weren't happy, the reporters did press back, during the time we had media who were really asking some amount of questions. So people did ask and pressed for more explanation, but the kind of final explanation this person gave us, why should I explain it to you? I don't have any obligation to explain it to you, and he just left the room.
Wow, that explains a lot.
Yep. So
And which year was it? I'm not sure if you mentioned it already.
so this was I think 1996. It
Okay.
was in 1996.
So we are still in the 90s.
Yes, it was. This 90s period was something which people had a lot of UFO sightings, and it wasn't just. Yeah, it wasn't. This was a very significant incident because people actually saw these biologics and such kind of an actual moving body or a live being with a physical witness, right? And yeah, the other thing also, when another person who reported was while this military was trying to search for this existing the live being, there was another UFO craft which was hovering over the airspace, and it seemed like it was looking for something. I don't know if it was one of their allies or whatever. It was just like looking for the other being, or I don't know. It's all just speculation. But it wasn't the only craft which was there. There seemed to be another craft which just like was around and it just like left.
So are you saying that these two crafts were in a dogfight and one of the crafts by accident crash landed in Brazil, Virginia area? Dude, this whole incident puts the Avenger movies to shame.
Definitely. I don't know if they would call it as dogfight. I don't know. Maybe it might be just like their friends. They were just hanging around, and then like maybe something they just like got into a fight or quarrel. They just like decided to just crash land, or who knows. The other interesting thing which was also observed was the alien or this biologic. It had like only 3 fingers. The feet also was like had like only 3 appendages. It's. I don't think a mentally ill person would have such things. But yeah, I think what they were trying to prove was we are the mentally ill ones. We believe all this
For
story.
sure. So tell me this. So you did mention that one person died who
Yeah.
got in physical contact with the alien that was wandering the streets. And was he the only one that died because of the physical contact, or were there other
No.
deaths among humans?
There was this other person. The other person, the firefighter.
the
which I said,
firefighter who tried to get hold of
even
the...
though he didn't grab the alien by hands,
Okay.
I think he used a leash or something to catch it. He also died.
Now we obviously do not know what caused their death because there is no report.
So the
Or-
report, there was a post-mortem report.
I'm sorry, you did mention
yeah,
that
Yeah, they
they-
did say like they did see some kind of a foreign kind of chemical or material in the bloodstream, which was completely new, or like where the person's body couldn't fight against it. So yeah, that's one of the reason they claim. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry for the people who lost their life on
Yes.
this issue, but the fact still remains that any government, Brazil government or the US government, are they go to lengths to hide the fact or to debunk the things that's been happening in front of your eyes. When do you think all this will stop, and when do you think there'll be like a clear, concise disclosure that UFOs are real, aliens are real, we all coexist in this universe, or however you want to put it? What's your theory about that?
I think it's already there. I believe the disclosure has already happened. Only thing is, people have to seek for the information. No one is going to come and give the information on a platter for people. So that is in some way we are trying to do with our podcast too, where anyone who doesn't have the whole background, or like maybe okay, they are very much where they want to have something where like starting from scratch. Okay, how can I get up to speed about what are these, what is happening? So that's what we are trying to do here. But in my belief, I don't think anyone expecting okay, the government is just gonna the US president is gonna just come out and say, oh yeah, we have all this done, because it's far more complex than just like someone coming and announcing something like that, because it has quite a big history behind, and a lot of unsolved problems they would face. So they would rather just kick the things for the future than trying to solve it now. So that's what is happening. Like people know, like it's like the same as like the US debt, right? So like where you have like so much of trillions of dollars in debt, but like, yeah, I'm not going to pay it now. The government says no. Let you just like keep pushing the issue or the problem to the future. So that's what will happen from the government. Like, so people have to seek, and we as a channel, I think we are trying to give a platform for people to get into it. So yeah.
Well, we sure try. Hey, that was nice catching up on the Brazil Virginia UFO incident.